The following featured presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on this spooktacular episode 489 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
I felt like I was the Dark Lord of the Sith walking the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I was Darth Vader.
All day, every day, there's a Halloween cocktail.
This is the Mary Poppins I wanted to be, and nothing else would do. I needed to be practically perfect in every way.
You're a late night horror host. What is your name and what kind of show are you hosting?
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland.
Here we go.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets loud. It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never Land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! Halloween is upon us, and we have so much to talk about that we're going to cram it into this one episode. But until then, we want to welcome you back to Skywalking Through Neverland. I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah. Just don't look at the hat line on her forehead.
Oh no! Thank you for bringing it to everyone's attention. Now that's all everyone's going to be thinking about.
You made a big deal about it before we went on, so you knew I was going to glom onto that.
Before we went on. No, but look, I'm wearing my Down the Witch's Road designed shirt and the new Agatha Rock Love brooch.
Yes.
Locket. I'm very excited. It finally came on our anniversary. On our 15th anniversary, it came in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Ah!
All that and hat head.
No, I was trying to turn their attention.
Sarah had a big witch's hat on just a few minutes ago and left a mark on her forehead.
It's got a line. I got a forehead line now. Thank you. Well, you have hat hair, okay?
Well, thank you. I like my hat hair.
Man, it's not fair. All right, Skywalkers. Well, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, pop culture, and Halloween fandom. So imagine a big Wookiee hug from us, a little sprinkle of pixie dust, and a witch's cackle for our family of Skywalkers. We are live right now on the Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel. Please subscribe and then hit that bell for notifications because often we go live without warning to record our wraparounds. It's really fun.
Yeah. So I had my phone here a couple of seconds ago. I was going to show you the
live
YouTube
subscribers.
Update.
Okay.
All right. Well, last week we had 9,134 YouTube subscribers.
Okay.
And I think we asked for 5 or 6.
Okay.
Well, once again, you said nope, and you gave us 10.
Oh.
So we have 9,144 subscribers and no cell phone.
That's okay.
Don't know where that went.
All right. And also this past week, we've been posting some fun Halloween reels, and we've been gaining some followers over there as well. So we want to thank you and welcome all the new followers there at Skywalking Pod. We just crossed the 4,300 mark on Instagram. So that's really cool. 4,307.
Yeah.
Awesome. That keeps going up every day. So thank you, Skywalkers.
And I think it's going to go up a little bit more this week because we have some fun videos, some fun reels that we're going to be posting, like your Beetlejuice makeup test on me.
That's right.
Oh, if the Skywalkers had seen things we want to share last week, you'll have seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see
you'll have seen that he is in Beetlejuice makeup.
Yeah, the final product of the Beetlejuice makeup. And then Sarah did it for me again a couple nights ago, and it looked great. Everyone loved it.
The second time was much better, but that's why we do a makeup test.
Yeah, it took about an hour, but I sped it up, so you'll get through the hour within a minute.
Nice.
Then last night we were scare monsters in a haunted maze.
Yeah.
And I set up my phone and to record myself as I'm scaring people as they walk by.
And you were Pennywise.
I was Pennywise from It.
He's very creepy.
I hid my phone across this little clown room I was in, and I thought no one would see the phone. Of course, everyone did.
Oh, no.
They're looking around. They see this phone, which really worked to my benefit because I could sneak up behind them. Now all of a sudden they're looking at their image on my phone, and here I am walking up behind them.
Oh.
It freaked them out.
That is so creepy.
Yeah.
And I was in the front part of the maze where they'd walk in, and I was among a bunch of like dolls, and then I'd pop out. I was in what kind of outfit was I?
Skull zombie.
Yeah, skull zombie dude. And so I was very still until they came like right up to me, and then I would freak them out. I'd move and get in their face, and wow.
I was in the room next to you, and I could hear a loud scream coming from the other room.
It was really fun.
Boy, you really know how to scare people, don't you?
I got much better at it this year. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lots of fun.
Yeah. Well, in this episode, the Halloween fun continues because we are celebrating the actual Halloween week with Holly Frey from Full of Sith and Stuff You Missed in History Class podcasts. Also, she's on Criminalia podcast as well. She's an author, clothes designer, and lover of all things Halloween. So we tackle random burning topics. Favorite Halloween childhood memory, first scary movie you saw, and we ask, you're a late night horror host, what is your name and what is your show about? Now, we also want to know your answers to this in our show post, so make sure you comment. And then there's the HOLLYween Game of Terror Strikes Back.
I told you, power-packed Halloween episode.
Yes.
Lots of fun coming your way. But now we want to tell everyone that we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency that can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world and on a Disney cruise. Best of all, this service is free of charge, so head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you. And when we're talking to Holly, we're talking about a future trip over there to the other side of the country for their Halloween fun.
Yeah.
So we'll be calling Small World Vacations for that.
I really want to experience Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
It's like huge.
We got an invitation from Holly.
That's
we'll
right.
be doing it. We'll be calling you Small World Vacations, and we're going to pick up the phone and say, Skynet, and then hang up.
Hey, the new Universal Park opens next year in May. What if we make a trip in September, October?
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
That would be fun.
Done.
Okay.
Oh my good. Oh, something to look forward to. This is going to be epic. No pun intended.
Epic universe.
There you go.
All right. Well, we are recording this episode from Long Beach, California on October 27th, 2024. So, Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
Well, let's go back 19 years to
Oh
this
my.
date, October 27th, 2005.
Oh.
Star Wars, Where Science Meets Imagination, opens at the Museum of Science in Boston, Massachusetts. This is a huge Star Wars tour. This tour consists of 18 engagements, continuing to February of 2014. So this went 9 years.
I remember experiencing this with you in LA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was a great tour. The Museum of Science created this traveling exhibit that features numerous props, models, and over a dozen costumes used in the Star Wars saga. The exhibit focuses on the science behind the technology in the films, such as Luke's land speeder and Anakin's prosthetic hand, and showcases real-world comparisons. And a reproduction of the Millennium Falcon cockpit simulates the jump to lightspeed and features narration by Anthony Daniels and R2-D2.
Nice. Yeah, this exhibit really taught me science. You know, like it's memorable things. Like I especially remember the robotic hand.
Yeah, that was spooky and interesting and informative.
It was very, very cool.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
We are so excited to continue our Halloween fun by speaking with the one and only Holly Frey. With only days left until Halloween, we still have many random lingering topics we want to cover.
Holly is a history yapper, Star Wars nerd, Disney fan, glitter addict, costumer, and crazy cat lady, and also Halloween queen.
Hey, Holly!
Aloha, aloha.
We stole that from your Instagram.
I figured.
I'm sorry, we plagiarized.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, how can we summarize Holly? You do so much. Then we saw that on Instagram. It's like, oh, this is too good not to use.
Yeah, and speaking of Instagram, I mean, every year we love watching your Instagram #Halloween clothing cycle.
Yeah.
And when we want to know, like, when did this start and how many days do you do it for? Because you're like up to day 56 or something, right?
I start on September 1st. And it really became because I have a little problem with acquisitions and not controlling myself. And so I reached that point where I was like, I have so many Halloween clothes. And it's really just a way for me to make sure I am actually wearing my Halloween wardrobe every year and not like getting to week 3 of October and being like, oh, damn, I have a lot of good clothes I forgot to wear this year. So that's really why it started.
And also, well, you design like clothing as well, correct?
I do.
You design fabric.
I do. I design fabric and clothes as a hobby. I did one of my majors in college was theater, and design was a big part of that. And I also just grew up sewing. I don't remember ever not sewing. I've been sewing since I was 3, so like a long time. And then I just started designing stuff in the last, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 years. Just because, there are those moments in life where you're like, what I really want is a Halloween fabric that has droids on it. And frankly, that's not in the marketplace. So you gotta DIY that biz.
Yeah, you do a great job.
Yeah, you do. I love, as a kid, I would make my own, well, a kid, I mean like teens, I would try to sew my own costumes. So I think my first design, my first thing I ever made was the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker outfit. And I put it together. I was so happy with it. I showed my mom's friend. She said, "Rich, that's good. Let me take it for the night, and I just want to look at it." Next day, it's like, wait a minute, this is much better than I thought it was. Boy, am I good.
Bless that woman.
Yeah, years later, I realized that she took it all apart and put it back together again. But I couldn't have worn it the way I had sewn it. Would have just fallen apart.
She had a vision of your pants falling off halfway through trick-or-treating, and she's like, I can rescue this child.
Yes, yes. As many times as the neighbors like to call the police on me, this is one time they just, just leave them alone on Halloween.
Oh my gosh. Well, Holly, your whole Halloween clothing cycle sounds like me and my nail cycle, because each week I have to do like different Halloween nails, and I change them out every week leading up to Halloween. And now it's bad because I have like 2 designs I want to use, but this is Halloween week, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
I know this exact problem. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Nice.
All right, now with that, we're so excited for this. Let's go skywalking with random Halloween questions.
Great, I'm ready.
We've been compiling this list since, I would say, November 1st of 2023.
And also, if Skywalkers, if you're listening right now and you want to answer those questions, please feel free to comment anywhere on our social medias.
All right, question number 1, and we'll all go around it to answer the same question.
Absolutely.
It's not Halloween season until I...
Blank.
What, Holly?
Well, I am a person that leaves my house decorated for Halloween 365. I'm not joking. That's literally the upstairs of our house is all Halloween. The downstairs is all Star Wars. So it's always Halloween season, but it's usually around August 15th when I start pulling out the clothing and kind of mapping out what is going on the wardrobe plan for the year.
Do you have like a PDF file or a list?
Every year I try to start one and it all blows up about 3 weeks in, and I'm just like, well, too late for this. I'm just gonna gun it. So
okay.
All right, Sarah.
Oh, for me, you know what? It's not Halloween season until I start planning what to wear for a group Oogie Boogie Bash costume.
Nice.
I have to say that because the last 2 years we've knocked it out of the park both times. It's been really fun. So that has now become kind of a tradition with me and my girlfriends and our guy friends that tag along for the ride.
Yes, this year she included me in this.
Yeah.
Aren't
yeah.
you lucky?
Yes.
So this is like the beginning of August then.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because in August I think they released tickets, so you have to like buy your tickets, and it's a whole thing. And this year we did a whole Agatha Witch's Coven costume, and I was Scarlet Witch, and Richard was my child.
I was Tommy.
Yeah,
I was child Tommy. I played a 10-year-old, which isn't far from what I do every day anyway.
There you go.
It's fun. What about you, Richard?
All right, for me, it's really not Halloween season until I have my first Starbucks pumpkin latte. It's that sip of pumpkin, and I think they're the first ones to release something pumpkin. We go to Trader Joe's, and they never have anything until
like mid-September.
Yeah. I think Starbucks has got their stuff out like the end of August now?
I think so now, yeah.
You're right. I was going to say when Disney says it's Halloween, it's Halloween time, but they keep starting it too early. They keep pushing.
No, there's no such thing as too early. Let's establish.
Yeah, when you're in business. I understand
when they're like, oh, halfway to Halloween, and they do that big push, I'm like, amateurs. Like,
yeah, you're so right, but it's very hard to celebrate Halloween when you're sweating your butt off.
Yeah.
When you go into the parks and they're having their first Oogie Boogie Bash, it's like it's August 1st. This is not Halloween season yet.
Well, here's what I do. Every month that has a 31st gets a Halloween.
Oh.
So like I will do Januween, I will do Marchoween, I will do Mayoween. Julyoween is rough. I'm not going to lie. It is sweaty. So we will do a little something on every 31st throughout the year just for the fun of it.
For kicks, what do you do? Do you have a Halloween cocktail or do you dress up?
All day, every day. There's a Halloween cocktail. We will sometimes dress up. I will usually make a feast of some sort. Sometimes we'll do a little themey thing. Like one year for Julyoween, we did kind of a tiki tropical Halloweeny thing. And usually, it's just me and Brian, and I make a drink and we make a feast. But sometimes friends will come over and we'll goof off, and then it gets a little bigger and more ridiculous.
How fun.
Yeah. We gotta do that.
I know. Sounds good.
Growing up in Boston, it was when September hit, it started to get very chilly. You had those chills in the air, and I love that fall weather. So I'm still associating that chill with Halloween. And when it's 99 degrees out in the shade, I just have a hard time celebrating Halloween. Even though we have got pumpkins up at places, we don't ever take down our pumpkins. We buy pumpkins and we'll leave them out front in our lawn until they just disintegrate.
Yeah, that's the correct way.
Right. Yeah, but when it comes time to go out there and do something, it's just very hard when you're just covered in sweat.
Okay.
I've got a big thing about sweating. I don't like it.
Very true. All right, so next question. What are you doing this year to celebrate Halloween? Now, I know we've established you celebrate it every day, but what specifically for this Halloween?
So this Halloween is going to be a little low key because we're leaving on an international trip like the next day. So I can't really do a blowout and be messy. So we don't have a big plan. We'll hang out here at the house. We may have a few friends over, but it's going to be low key because we'll be packing.
All right. Well, what about, because sometimes we don't always get to celebrate on Halloween. So what specifically have you done this year to celebrate Halloween?
We did our Mickey's Not So Scary a few weeks back, which we try to do at least once a year. We happened to time that right as a hurricane was coming in. So it was, we literally booked it out of Florida the next morning. And we were evacuating along with everybody else, which was kind of hilarious. Our 6.5-hour drive home was 11 hours, but we were expecting it. So it was fine. We goofed off in the car together for 11 hours. We have done, there's one of our local restaurants that we really, really love. It's our favorite place. They have done a big Halloween menu. And just yesterday we went and like had lunch and sampled all of their Halloween drinks that they've come up with this year and all of the things we haven't made it to yet on the Halloween menu. And this year, because I have a cocktail book out that is a little bit on the spooky side, mostly I've been doing book events, which is kind of Halloween-y. But really, like, my dance card has just been kind of like on hold for all of that.
Okay, so for everyone's edification, for our Skywalkers, what is the name of your book? And I'm sure they can find it anywhere books are sold.
Anywhere books are sold. It is called Killer Cocktails, Dangerous Drinks Inspired by History's Most Nefarious Criminals. So it is part cocktail book, part history book. We talk about, like, there are stories of historical true crime and then the cocktail that it was inspired by that story, and there's a mocktail to go with every cocktail. Ooh. And it grew out of our podcast Criminalia, which is a historical true crime podcast, and we have a cocktail segment on it, and our listeners have kind of been like, yes, but could we get these written down, because sometimes I'm driving when you're giving a cocktail recipe. So that was kind of our way to do that, and half of it is stuff that has been on the podcast, and half of it is brand new stories, brand new drinks that nobody has seen before.
Wow,
that's fun.
Lots of interesting, good drinks, mostly on the pretty easy to do side. Here, it looks like this. Doop, ding.
Very nice. And you got some purple color on there.
Everything purple
color.
All the time.
Yeah.
Purple all day long.
Well, that's a very unique idea for a book. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been super duper fun. Maria, who wrote it with me, is also my co-host on the podcast. So we've just had a great time kind of revisiting a lot of the stories that we have been through already. You know, we didn't start doing mocktails on the show until the 3rd season. And so this gave us a chance to revisit the ones from the first 2 seasons that didn't have a mocktail and come up with something for those. But it's also just like a fun way to kind of tell a story in a glass, is what I usually like to say, because everything has to be tied to the story in some way. It's not like we do a story and then we go, okay, that's a vodka Collins, or okay, that's a whiskey sour. Like, they all have to relate to it and be original and interesting. For example, one of the chapters in the book is all about historical art heists. And for every drink, I challenged myself that the cocktail had to look to some degree like the piece of art that had been stolen.
Wow.
So it was very, very fun. It's been a lot of fun, a little stressful. There's like 83 drinks in the book, so you have lots of experimenting to do. And the whole goal is to teach people not just how to make these drinks, but how to feel confident switching out ingredients and kind of tweaking drinks to make them perfect for their own palate.
Well, that must have been a lot of fun to write. Like, wait a minute, let me experiment with this and with that. It's like, what am I doing now?
Let's make some good
it's the sweetest scam in the world. I had made it my job to drink. I'm at the liquor store every Wednesday morning, and they're like, "This chick again," and I'm, like, "Well, I gotta come up with another drink for the show this week," and they just let me wander around and find things. So.
Oh yeah, Miss Frey, the book and the podcast. Wink, wink.
Oh,
okay,
right. Cool.
Whatever gets you there.
You need a lot of absinthe for that podcast, I've noticed. Like, they're just like, yeah, sure.
And people can get this at any bookstore and on Amazon.
Any bookstore, Amazon, any of the big box stores, any of your locals. If they don't currently have it, they can get it pretty easily.
We'll put that link in the show notes.
Absolutely.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah. So we're pretty much doing the same thing for this Halloween.
Yes.
So you know what? You roll into it.
We're watching Agatha All Along. That's pretty much the number one Halloween thing this year.
No shame in that game. Ooh, it's good.
It's so good. We've been enjoying the hell out of it. So, yeah, love that. What else have we been doing, Richard?
Well, with the TV theme, I'm going to say What We Do in the Shadows.
Finally out during Halloween time.
Yes, one of my favorite shows, but in the past, they've released it in July and August. I just can't get my head around this kind of a show, so we've had to wait until September, October to watch it and hope that no one out there spoils anything online. Which they always do.
It's so good.
Yeah, this
funny.
season, the final season, is just so well done. I love their attention to detail when it comes to creatures and the storytelling, and Gizmo or Guillermo having a new job. we're just loving every bit of this.
Yeah, it's spectacular. I just started a rewatch of the whole series, and it's kind of interesting because stuff that happened in the first season, I would have told you was 2 seasons ago. Like, it's all had such a nice through line and thread that nothing feels dated or like out of step with the current storytelling. Mwah, so good.
Yeah. I love it when we go to conventions. We see the whole group, the vampire group, walking the floor. It's like, Naja, hey!
Like people, dressed.
Yeah, people, cosplaying.
And we were at one convention
as Nandor and Laszlo.
We were at one convention where Guillermo, the actor, was actually there.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, but cool. Yeah, that's so fun.
Okay, so along with watching TV, we've been hitting a lot of theme parks.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we got Knott's Scary Farm, Oogie Boogie Bash, and of course Universal's Halloween Horror Nights here in Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've never been to Universal Halloween Horror Nights over in Florida. Have you been, Holly?
No.
You either. Okay, yeah.
I'd
really like to go.
Okay, next year let's make a plan.
Okay.
Come over to this coast and we'll meet you and we will go.
That sounds like
done
fun.
and done.
Sold.
Awesome.
We also went to the magic of, what do you call it?
The jack-o'-lanterns.
The magic, what do you call it?
Magic of the jack-o'-lanterns.
Magic of the jack-o'-lanterns, where they just had all these carved pumpkins and all these big colored fields. It was beautiful.
Green.
It was one of these events where people just didn't keep popping out at you with chainsaws.
Right, it was very family friendly.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. It had a lot of fun. And their last section was all themed to Star Wars. So all these pumpkins, all Star Wars designs carved in these pumpkins. Loved it.
Great photo ops, really. I mean, now they become our phone screens. All these...
Our screensavers, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Now, let's move on to favorite childhood Halloween memory. So, Holly?
This is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'm old, Richard.
Well, I bet I get a few years on you, and it's hard because I had to narrow it down to like.
I don't think you do, but it is really hard to think of. I mean, I just remember there was one Halloween, and I don't know why this one stuck with me. And it was so silly and weird that I was hell-bent on the costume I needed was an elephant. I don't know why. I have no clue what possessed my tiny mind, but I was just like, Jan, you got to make me an elephant. And my mom made me this kooky little elephant costume. And I remember in my, again, clearly not quite on the rails child mind, I was like, I can only walk on all fours throughout this entire party that I went to. And I don't know that it was my best memory, but it sure has stuck with me over the years. Where I'm like, was I near a gas leak that year? What was going on? I was so intense about this elephant situation.
I think a lot of kids had an elephant infatuation.
Yeah.
I loved elephants as a kid. Loved them. But every one of my costumes were always based on an IP.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now, for me, this is a hard question because I've got so many. I'm going to narrow it down to a couple. 2, okay? Now, the first one is in Boston, the Children's Museum of Science put on these really awesome haunted houses. I love these, and I so wished I could find some footage on YouTube. It'll never show up. This is from 1976 through 1980. No, I bet no one's got footage of this. And it was scary for a 7-year-old. And I remember
because they had haunted houses, right?
These haunted houses, yeah. And I remember one. I want to say it was 1977, where you walk up these stairs and there was a duck funeral. A duck funeral. So there was a woman in a duck mask sitting at the coffin of her dead duck husband. This freaked me out so much. I don't know why. Why are they ducks? How did this one die? I don't know. And around this time, Rick Dees had his big song, Disco Duck. I could not listen to it. I could not listen to Disco Duck. I think the first time I ever got close to a duck again was Howard the Duck in 1986. It took me that long to even look at a duck.
It hurt your heart and scared you at the same time.
And because it really confused me. What happened to this duck? Why is he dead? I don't know. And I chickened out. I couldn't go through the haunted house. I was like, 8 years old? I could not do it. But we want to. My mom was nice enough to bring me again and said, if you don't go through this, we're never going through another haunted house again. And she said, spoiler alert, at the end, there's a little Star Wars surprise. I ran right up those stairs, waved hello to those ducks, and ran right to the end of the haunted house.
What's up?
Yeah. Don't have time to mourn for the Mr. Duck. I'm out of here. And I remember running through this place, and they had this creepy Spider-Man and this big spider web, which
Love it.
and I think the performer in the Spider-Man costume was very insecure about what he was doing because he would always
no.
like hide in the back. It's like, I think that's Spider-Man, but don't have time for you. And I just ran to the end, and there was this Tusken Raider. Oh my God. And he had, from what I remember, a screen accurate costume. Of course, this is going back 40 years, so it could look like a Party City Spirit Halloween costume.
In that moment, it was screen accurate. That's all that matters.
It really was. And then they had this cutout in a wall, and inside there were a couple of Jawas. Little mannequin Jawas.
Oh, okay, so not like real people.
No.
But still.
Yes.
With the eyes.
With the eyes, the glowing eyes, and the blaster, and one of them had this little like computer he was holding, like an iPad back in 1977. And then I asked my mom, can we go again? Please let us go again. Because I have presents for my Star Wars friends. And I bought the Topps cards. And I gave one to the Tusken Raider, and I put one with the Jawas.
So sweet. So sweet.
That's cute.
Yeah, I cherish these memories.
Well, this is like your major fascination with Star Wars and Halloween comes from like this moment.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love it.
And I also want to bring up the time when in 1977, I got my Darth Vader costume, my Ben Cooper Darth Vader costume. And when I put this on, I felt like I was the Dark Lord of the Sith walking in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I was Darth Vader. However, I know what everyone else saw, because when I go up to the first house, they would say, "Oh, I love your costume." It's like, no, this is not a costume. This is my Dark Lord outfit. This is my armor. I'm Darth Vader. And every other house, like, "Oh, I love your costume." It's like, no, not a costume.
Or the worst, you're so cute. You're like, I will crush your larynx.
Oh, that's so cute.
So that's like a good and bad memory.
Yeah.
But I just remember me being so put off that no one saw that I was Darth Vader.
Yeah.
It's like, me, come on. As far as you know, lady, I'm David Prowse underneath this.
That's right.
It's like, but you're 3 feet tall.
All right, so this goes back to when I was 7. I really wanted to dress up as Mary Poppins. But I am a very, very specific child, and it was not just the regular Mary Poppins, it was the Jolly Holiday white and red outfit. This is the Mary Poppins I wanted to be. And nothing else would do. I needed to be practically perfect in every way. So my mom, who's also very handy seamstress, she made a red cummerbund and the white hat to go with my white confirmation dress that I had used that same year. It was absolutely perfect. And then I remember my dad worked at 3M all my life growing up. And so they had this huge Halloween 3M party, like their Halloween party, the business party. And I went with my dad, and I was Mary Poppins. And he dressed up as Chimney Sweep Bert, complete with soot on his face. We have this amazing picture. And I remember my mom, like, setting the end of a cork on fire and blowing it out, and then being fascinated when we rubbed it on his face and made like actual soot on his face. That was like a fascinating memory, and we just had the best time at the party, and yay, that's my favorite.
And I bet you thought you were Julie Andrews.
I was absolutely Julie Andrews, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, yes. Docious-adly-expiastic-fragicalirufus. That's backwards. Okay. Yes. It was awesome.
All right, now let's move on to this next question. Holly, what is the oddest thing you ever got while you were trick-or-treating?
Okay, I don't know that it's that odd, but Richard, you might remember this. So in 1974, there was a horrible tragedy. This is the start of the tainted candy situation, which was the one time it's actually ever been documented historically, and it was, in fact, a guy that poisoned his own kids. Which is terrible. But because he did poison their Halloween candy, it started that big scare that went on. And so I was like teeny tiny when that happened, but even for several years thereafter, I just remember like there would be times in our neighborhood where I don't know if all the parents got together and were like, hey, let's screw over the kids. But it would be like, this year, everybody's getting dental stuff. And this year, or it would be like, this year, it's all healthy snacks. And there would always be that one house that was like, we're not doing that. But the rest of them would be like, here's your apple and your toothbrush. Here's a flosser. When you're like 6, that is not a cool Halloween situation. I will remember that flosser for the rest of my life and seek vengeance upon those who gave it to me. Like, yes, take care of your teeth, but come on, it's Halloween.
Not on Halloween. We don't take care of nothing but our stomachs.
Nobody needs a flosser on Halloween. Nobody needs it.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. All right, Sarah.
So for me, I was trying to rack my brain. This isn't something that I remember clearly. I mean, I clearly remember at the end of the night, you pool your candy with your friends and you like trade what you want. Like I hated Smarties and one of my friends loved them. And I'm like, give me all your chocolate. Here's all my Smarties. But I think I remember getting like pennies, which is so silly. It's like, if you're going to give coins, at least give like, I don't know, 25 cents for a kid. Because pennies are silly.
Situation for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think I remember one time we got like little tiny books or comic books or something, like little tiny ones in the
like tinier than this.
Yes, probably tinier than that, like almost little pamphlet comics. So I think that's all I remember.
Well, you should have lived in my neighborhood.
Okay.
Because there was one woman who would get drunk every Halloween and just give out bills. Here, 5s, 10s, 15s. And then, I don't know how, but she had the foresight to go, okay, I only have so many of these, so I'm going to write down everyone's name and their costume so they won't come back. It's like, okay, you can try to do that, but guess what? We're going to outsmart you. We're going to get back in line, change masks, and just say a different name. Yeah, my name, Mark Hamill. Come back, I'm Carrie Fisher. Okay,
Yes.
Here's a 5. Come back again. I'm David Prowse. Here's a 15.
Oh my gosh.
Sandy Schmandy, you were in it for cold hard cash. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, the other house, like, we have a fun-size Snickers.
Oh.
Or we can get $5 and buy a whole carton of fun-size Snickers.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. And we lived in a cul-de-sac, so there's only so many kids. So
Yes.
she never realized, wait a minute, the stars of Star Wars lives on my cul-de-sac. Mark Hamill came through, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, Billy D. Williams, David Prowse. I think I made off with $25 that Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
Either that or she was totally wise to it and she's like, I'm paying for these kids to entertain me with their ridiculousness, basically. Sure, what are they going to come up with next? Yeah, here's another $5. Let's see what crazy cockamamie name you give me next.
Yeah. All right. So here's another question. Did you ever have a costume malfunction that ruined your night?
I can't think of any. I mean, coming from a very costumey household, like everything was pretty locked down. There was not a lot of slapdashery going on. The only one I will tell you, this is not a malfunction, but it is this did not go as planned.
Okay.
Which is right before the special editions, not the special editions, but you remember the year before, was that right? Where they put all of the Star Wars films out on video as a big collector set.
Yeah, 95.
95, yeah.
And that year, I dressed as Princess Leia. And I had my little blaster and I went out, clubbing as you do. And I just realized, never ever should you carry a cool looking prop weapon into a club. Not for the reason you're thinking, but just because you have to spend all night long going, no, you can't have this. And so it wasn't a malfunction so much as a
learning experience.
Just
don't
want to ever do that again. I don't want to waste my socializing time going, no, dude, this is not for you.
Okay, that fits in this category.
Yeah.
I could say that.
Yeah, because mine is kind of similar. It's not a malfunction per se, but it's something like that. It was like a learning experience. Like, okay, I know what not to do. So very close to Halloween when I was 16. So again, this was 97. Yeah, 97. So when the special editions were out, when I was 16, I heard that the Borders bookstore near me was doing like this Star Wars costume contest. I was very excited, but I heard about it last minute, like the morning of. So I like did not have time. I like scrambled to put this Leia costume together with my mom's clothing. So like she had this off-white long hip hugging skirt that she would wear to work. And then I tucked in this white blouse that had one of those built-in scarves at the neck and it had like gold threading in it. It was totally not looking like the Princess Leia robe, but whatever. In my head, I thought I was passable for New Hope Leia. I did my hair in the braids. My hair was blonde, but whatever. I figured people would see brown. And then I went to the Borders. And so then I had a learning experience because I was like so excited to debut my new Leia costume that I had thrown together. And this is when a 5-year-old kid in a store-bought Vader costume handily beat everyone because he's a 5-year-old kid. It didn't matter what he was wearing. It was a freaking 5-year-old kid, and I was very upset.
Well,
Robbery.
rightfully so. Rightfully
Robbery.
so.
Now, granted, my costume was not that good, but
you put effort into
I
it.
put a lot of effort into it. Exactly. And then this kid won. And I think I had like made a belt too, right? You know, like painted something silver and like anyway. Yeah. So I was upset, but then I learned that the kids will always win.
Yes.
The kids are the super sexy lady. Those are your options.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and in a full up to the neck blouse, I wasn't winning anything.
Yeah, had the slave girl outfit, maybe. Yeah, the other night I had worked a Halloween event in our city, and they had a big costume contest, and I hate costume contests because the kids with the packaged costumes will always win. This kid with a big inflatable costume won out before all these other kids who had made their costumes.
Yeah.
Right.
He had won first place, and the second place was a 3-year-old who dressed like Alfalfa from Little Rascals. How do you beat that? It's 2024. He dressed as Alfalfa. Just give him first, second, and third place prizes.
Is Little Rascals 100 years old at this point?
Probably, pretty much, yes. And I said to the mom, I love his Alfalfa costume. And she says, oh, thank you. Not like, you're the only one here who recognized he was Alfalfa. You're the only one.
She's like, duh.
Yeah, exactly. So I just don't like the costume contests.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, what's your costume malfunction?
Okay, in 1980, I graduated from the Ben Cooper costumes to the Don Post full masks. And so I made a Darth Vader costume with the Don Post mask. My grandmother made me a nice flowing Darth Vader cape. I had cardboard pieces for the chest plate and the little boxes on the belt. I put these shiny stickers on them. Aww. And once again, I looked at it, it's like, that is how Darth Vader looks. And I was so happy to go out. This is my costume. I spent months making this, and it was perfect. Well, it was perfect in cardboard. But as I'm going out, the sun goes down, and I can't see a thing. I can't. At that point, I didn't know about the fog spray. You spray in the lenses so you can see. I couldn't see a darn thing, and my friends had to lead me around. I refused to take off the helmet because that's not what Darth Vader does. So I just spent the whole night blinded and going up. I fell up and down so many flights of stairs.
Oh, no.
But I don't care. I was in my Darth Vader costume. And in that same year, my friend Malcolm Fleschner dressed as a Hershey's Kiss, this big aluminum foil costume. The first house he went to, he passed by these shrubberies and it just shredded his costume. And I've never heard an 11-year-old swear as much as he did.
Oh, Malcolm, I'm sorry to laugh at your pain, but
it was a pretty nice looking costume.
Yeah.
It made out of aluminum foil. And he just ripped the rest of the costume off and said, I'm going home. I'm going home. The first house, he didn't even make it up the front stairs. So here's Malcolm very ticked off and me not being able to see, and my other friends like, oh, this is the worst Halloween ever.
You know what? Do you guys remember? Because this reminds me now of like, I remember, you'd like have your plan for the costume. You'd be so excited, like a princess or something. And then Halloween comes and it's like freezing cold and you have to wear this black turtleneck like over or under things. And it just wasn't the look you were planning on. And I remember that happening to me.
Oh no, I would vote for hypothermia. I was very dedicated.
Yeah.
Like, that's just too bad. I guess I'm going to freeze tonight. That's fine.
Oh, see, my mom wouldn't let me.
My corpse will look so cool.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I think my mom knew I'm not going to tell Richard to put a jacket over that Darth Vader
Oh,
costume.
no.
I know how this is going to turn out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to movies. So what is the first scary movie you saw and how did it impact you? This doesn't necessarily have to be a Halloween movie, but first scary movie.
Scary movie. Horror.
I don't know. There are two that come to mind. And one isn't even the movie. It's the trailer that ran on television.
Okay.
It's quite old. There was a film in, is it 78, called The Legacy. And in this movie, there is a scene where the people who are staying in this house dive under the water in the pool and then they can't get out. It's like the house is possessed and it's glassed over. I, to this day, am afraid of swimming pools. Like, I am a full adult human being. I have swum in swimming pools, but I'm like head out of the water at all times. It really messed with me. Like, I will swim in the ocean. That is not a problem at all. But a pool, listen, that's a contained environment. You could be trapped. And that is literally just from the commercial. But the first movie that I saw that I remember that really messed me up was Poltergeist.
Oh.
Oh, that tearing of the face off situation messed my brain up. I think I was 9 when that came out.
Oh, man.
And I begged my dad. To take me. And he did reluctantly. And the funniest thing is that on the ride home, I don't know how recently you've watched that movie, but there's a scene in it where the parents are getting stoned in their bedroom at one point. And my dad wants to have like the drug talk with me. And I'm in shock. I'm gone. I'm on another planet. I'm trying to like compartmentalize so I can get through the drive home before I can go hide under the covers. I'm not ready for that discussion. A guy ripped his face off, Dad. There are bigger issues in this film.
There were corpses coming out from the pool. Yeah, I don't care about drugs right now.
You're trying to parent right now, but I am messed up. Like, I don't think I slept for a month after that movie. It really, really screwed with my head. But
wow.
Yeah, the Legacy. You know who directed that, right?
That's not a Corman. That's a I'm not remembering.
Richard Marquand.
Oh,
that's right. I knew it was somebody I knew. Yeah.
Yeah, director of Return of the Jedi.
Wow.
1978.
Oh my goodness.
Messing with my tiny little brain.
Wow.
That's why I tell everyone to write things down now. Write things down.
Yes.
Wow.
All
All right, Richard, what about you?
All right, for me, it's a tie. First scary movie I remember watching is Magic. This is the 1978 film directed by Richard Attenborough, starring Anthony Hopkins and Anne Margaret and Ed Lauter. And the log line for this is: a failed magician finds sudden stardom as a ventriloquist when he comes across a foul-mouthed dummy named Fats.
Yeah.
Now,
oh yes, I remember this movie.
And it freaked me out because here was this doll. It wasn't like something like a supernatural being that's like, oh, it's just a movie. But now
it's like
something that most of the kids like at that age, we have dolls. And if a doll had eyes, nope, not in the house. My sister had dolls with eyes, out of here. I would throw them under her bed all the time. Rich, where are my dolls? Where do you think they are? Underneath the bed.
Locked in the cellar.
Yeah. I was 9 years old when this movie came out, and if you went to school and said, hey, I just saw Magic at the theater, you're like a grown-up now because you saw an R-rated movie.
Oh.
Yeah, but little does anyone know that I watched the whole thing with my hands over my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Or like out in the lobby or in the car. They don't even crack the window. I don't even care. This movie freaked me out. And it starred Ed Lauter, who I worked with on the movie School Ties. Oh. And I didn't piece it together when I was working on the movie with him, or else I would have said, okay, tell me all about the making of Magic. And I would say number 2 would have to be Jaws, because it's Jaws. We used to go to the beach a lot, and I would never go in the water right after that. But
and still to this day,
yeah, it's still
you
to
don't
this
go
day.
to the water.
Yeah, if it's past like 5 o'clock, when you see the dark water, nope. Mm-mm. You know what? If it's a swimming pool, if it's a beach, you know what? I'm good. I'll stay here in my studio, hidden behind my microphone. No sharks in here. Unless Chevy Chase at the door doing his land shark.
Right? No land shark.
Candygram, land shark.
Nice.
All right, Sarah.
Okay, for me, the film that scared me was E.T. when I was 4. I watched it. Oh, I was too young. I was too young to see that opening scene because there's all these little ETs running around in the forest and all you can see is their red hearts beating. And the music, of course, is John Williams. So it's like extra emotional, like flustering and scary. And I like couldn't get through it. I started crying and I couldn't see it. And I never saw the full film until I was 14. And then I loved it. But like, I couldn't get through that scene. And it was probably because of John Williams.
I thought you were going to say it was all the government agents at the end.
Oh!
People showing up in suits and ties. Like,
that is weird. That's like a total tonal
kids.
shift, though. Yeah, that was weird. But now I am remembering, you mentioned how dolls are real, right?
Yeah.
So, like, when I saw Jurassic Park, I mean, I was the right age for that. I loved it. I was freaked out, but I loved it. But after that movie, my friend and I had a sleepover, and her doors have the same handles as the doors that the raptors could open. And we were freaking out that night. Like, we couldn't sleep because of the door handles. It was bad.
That's so cute.
All right.
All right, now, Holly, what movie or TV show has traumatized you as an adult?
This one's a little bit harder because different things traumatize me in different ways. And I have one that you might think is hilarious. Okay, before I met my beloved, I was fearless. I was like, I would do anything, I would try anything, I feared nothing. And then I met Brian and we got married and I suddenly had like stakes and I was like, I worried all the time. To this day, we've been together almost 30 years and I'm still like, oh, like he's, gonna walk into danger at any moment. And when we went to the theater, this is so embarrassing, but it's also funny in retrospect. When we saw the movie Signs in the theater, do you remember the scene where the wife is trapped against a tree by like a truck and they know she's gonna die?
I hate that scene. I
lost my mind so bad. I was sobbing so loudly and uncontrollably in the theater that no one was watching the movie. They were all like, is that lady going to be okay? I lost my mind.
Oh, no.
Because I was like, the idea of us losing a spouse suddenly in this horrible way, I was just like, I can't process this. I can't handle it. I can't even deal with this emotion. Like, it's so fun. I'm sure somewhere right now, one of those people is going to be like, do you know when I saw the movie Signs and it came out, some woman lost her mind crying in the theater? And I'm like, that's me. Hi, welcome.
Yeah, I hate that scene because that car barrels into the woman and it pretty much cuts her in half. But as long as that car has pinned her pinned up against the tree, then it's keeping the blood from spilling on out.
Yeah.
So she's like hanging in there, but her future is pretty much set. But then that one cop, I think he was played by M. Night Shyamalan, said, "Oh, you know what? It's time. You gotta let her go." I'm thinking, the husband's like, "No, we're gonna set up shop right here. This is where we're gonna live, right here up against this tree, so we can keep her alive."
Wow.
I hated that scene.
It was brutal.
Yeah, it was very, very. I would say that's very, very traumatic.
I must have blocked that scene out of my memory because wow, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
All right, Sarah.
Okay, I have to follow that. All right. I would have to say, so growing up, I was not into horror films. I never watched them, anything like that. Richard, you came into my life. You introduced me to some like horror films, like the original HOLLYween, 1979? 1978. So we watched that and I was like, okay, I could handle that. Like that was a good introduction into horror films. And so it was right around this time that the HOLLYween remake 2007 was coming out. And I was like, okay, well, I handled the original. I can handle this one. And so we went to the theater, saw it. Nope. Those gory murder scenes at the beginning, like in the woods, in like the little boy, like murdering his parents, I could not handle it. I had bad dreams for weeks. I was like, I know I told you, Richard, that I could handle this, but yeah,
No.
I can't.
Not in the least bit. Yeah, the first Halloween, there was a lot of murders, but you never saw like blood or guts.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
not a gruesome movie. It's a scary
No.
movie, and there's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was all psychological because in the fact that you never know where Michael's gonna be standing.
Right.
And so it just played with your mind. Wait a minute, I think that was the first time we've ever seen like a horror villain out in the broad daylight.
Yeah.
Not in the woods, not out in the shadows, not at night. Here is Michael Myers walking around the neighborhood, hiding in clotheslines, hiding behind bushes.
Yeah.
So that was very freaky. But yeah, it all played on that. And then when he killed, he'd go like, and
And he'd
that
drop.
was it.
Yeah. So I can handle that. Can't handle the other gore.
No.
All right. What about you, Richard?
I'm going to say Paranormal Activity, 2009. This flipped me out. Sarah had gone out on her bachelorette party, and my friend and I said, hey, let's go to the movies. We'll watch this Paranormal Activity. Now, I got to say, they don't make movies like this anymore, not like Alien or Paranormal Activity where it's a very slow burn.
Yeah.
But once it hits, it hits. And like the other films I was talking about earlier where these things could actually happen, something that's supernatural, where it's like, oh, okay, it's a lot of special effects. There's like doors opening at night or imprints on the bed.
Yeah, so what it is, it's like footage.
Yes,
that
like found
he's-
footage
yeah.
because they heard all this noise going on at night. What's going on? Let's set up these nanny cams all over the place, see what's going on. So they would play this footage in fast motion and they would coming down to regular speed and then you would just see like a shadow somewhere. Just that one shadow. Like an hour into the film, we're seeing a shadow and we're just losing it right there.
Or the sheets move on the bed.
The sheets move, yes.
Like uncovering the woman. Oh my God, it's so weird.
That night, well, Sarah was out with her friends and her bachelorette party, and I was at home, and my eyes were like wide open. I just could not. I could not. She's like, Sarah, get home quick.
I was out late,
I need
too.
comfort. Yes, I know. The one night you're out late. I need emotional support. Get home now. I can't get to sleep. That movie just really freaked me out.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, let's move on. All right, next. Holly, what is the oldest or most vintage Halloween decoration that you have?
I have one of our listeners on Stuff You Missed in History class sent me a while back some noisemakers from the 1930s. So they're like those things that you spin and they make, I think they're from the 1930s. They're like tin, they make the worst noises, but they're decorated in that like really old school hand painted, very sharp, high contrast graphics. They're really, really cool and I love them.
Wow.
Wow.
That sounds amazing.
That's a nice listener.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listener, if you're listening to this podcast right now, we're in Long Beach, California. Doors always open. Now, for me, I cherish my Halloween, my childhood Halloween, and I tried to save as much as I could from when I was a child. This is one of the only things I have left, and it is a skull candle.
Oh.
I believe it's from 1974, 1975,
Amazing.
and then when you burn it, the wax turns red and it flows out.
Flows out of the skull face.
And I don't know how, but I managed to save this. When I moved out to California, I told my sister, I'm taking this. No matter what, I'm taking this. We had two candles. We had this, and we had a witch candle. And my sister got the witch candle, and we had used it, so it burned down, but she stored it in her very humid basement, and the thing just demolished, and I never let her live it down. So last year, she went on eBay, and she found me the exact candle.
Amazing. Amazing.
Which you'll never burn.
I will
right?
never burn. Oh, yeah.
The candle's still intact
this
right
is
there in the
not
back.
a reproduction. This is an original candle.
I can't believe you're letting me hold this.
Believe me, I got my hands out ready. I got little safety nets.
What's the A? Oh, that's not an A. That's just the stool she's sitting on.
It does look like an A. I thought the same thing briefly. I was like, what is that? It spells nothing.
Yeah. A is for agate.
For Agatha.
I was like,
So
Is
I
it
was
Agatha?
like, ale?
Yeah.
Is this a beer ad? Like, what is this? No, it's not.
Yeah, it does kind of look, her boot looks like an L. Yeah, how funny.
Okay, it's subliminal.
It's either Al or Agatha. There you
The
go.
person who made it his name must have been Al. What company is that?
Oh, this is the Candles Girly Candle Company.
Yeah, they were very famous for their Halloween candles.
Love.
And then when you light the candle in the back, it glows.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her backdrop glows this fiery yellow.
That's very cool.
Oh, believe me. When my sister found whoever was selling this, I don't even want to know how much she paid for it, but she told the seller, "You must make sure this gets to him in one piece."
Oh.
So it came in like 15 boxes. Came in like a big refrigerator box. It's like a Russian nesting doll. Kept coming down and down and down and down. Finally, we got this, and oh my goodness. So no matter what my sister does at this point, she's off the hook.
Nice.
All right, Sarah.
My oldest Halloween decoration is actually a piece of clothing, and it is my mom's. It's a black dress, and it's got a scarf hem and little like flutter sleeves on it. And she had this in the 80s, and it's now my perfect witch dress to
Whoa.
plus up as needed. So I could add like purple cummerbund. I could add this little apron I'm wearing now. Anything to plus up this black dress. It's beautiful.
Oh.
Love it. All right, let's move on to this one here. I'm very excited to hear your answer, Holly.
Okay.
All right, let's get really creative here. You're a late night horror host. What is your name and what kind of show are you hosting?
Okay. So my first thought, which has been jettisoned, but I'll give it to you, was Holly Frey, just because it's easy and funny. But then I was like, oh, I should do something historical because that's more fun. And I thought about Lucrezia Borgia. And I think that's what it is. So for my history nerds, and I think that's what it is. The premise is that I'm interviewing historical ghosts.
Oh, how fun!
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
I'll watch that.
Yeah.
And for your first show, who are your guests?
Oh, Queen Victoria, Oscar Wilde.
Wow.
And the third one has to be kind of a good mix that throws it off a little bit, right?
Billy Barty.
No, but that would be fun. Part of me wants to say Ed Bolger, actually, but I'm not sure why.
Oh, the Scarecrow.
Or Billy Burke would also be on my list
Oh.
because I think she'd be hilarious.
Whoa. Okay, that's a good lineup. But of course, you're going to need a band. Every late night talk show needs a band.
Yeah, I mean, I would want the band from Nightmare Before Christmas that plays everything in a minor key. That's all I need, really.
Nice. Oh, that's so
Just
cute.
The best.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's call Disney Plus. Here, Disney, make this happen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, Sarah.
Okay, so I was thinking my horror host name could be Sarah Tombstone. Because it just kind of rolls off the tongue.
Love.
And
Okay.
Sarah is already a witch name, as has been established by the Salem witch trials.
Mhm.
Sarah Sanderson. Sarah's a good name, so I like it. And I think what I would do would be to interview composers of horror movies. So, yeah. And obviously my first guest would have to be John Williams talking about E.T. and saying, why? Why did you make this so horrific?
Yeah, Johnny's like, okay, I'll do this one interview. I turned everyone else down. And afterwards, she's saying, this girl, all she wanted to do was for 30 minutes was berate me. she didn't ask me any other questions. She didn't ask me any questions except for, how could you? That was it. I'm 93 years old, and this is what I get.
So that's my horror late night show
Okay.
host. What about you, Richard?
My name would be Frankenstein.
Great.
Now, I play a Jekyll and Hyde character named Frank and Stan, and they love and hate every B movie. Very, very Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah.
They're
Love it.
always fighting. They're always
Love it.
fighting because one always loves it and one always, how could you? This is trash. Yeah, but did you see the artistry in this? And they just can never agree. It was like it's hot and cold. and it has to be shot in one of those community Cablevision studios. Growing up, we had access to a cable community station in my town of Newton, and they let us do whatever we wanted. I lived at this cable station. I produced hundreds of hours of shows, and I just loved the quaint little studio setup. So I would want something like that, and you deck it out with black curtains, candelabra, and me sitting on a couch with myself and just fighting the whole time.
Is this based on a friend that you know?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. I was like, I know we have a friend who you guys never match up with your movies.
Yeah. No.
That's funny.
Actually, this is these names I used for a script I was writing 20 years ago. 2 kids named Frank and Stan.
Aww.
So I thought, hey, I like that name. Very Frankensteinish and very Jekyll and Hyde at the same time.
Nice. That's
Perfection.
All right. Where's Disney Plus? Put them on speed dial. We're giving him these things.
Should we move on?
Yes. Okay. And what's a Halloween podcast party without Halloween games? Now we were gonna go with bobbing for apples, but I don't think anyone likes bobbing for apples.
No, it's terrible.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
So
it's a bad game.
It's a very bad game. Yeah, it's a good way to get an infection. Now we are going to play the HOLLYween Game of Terror Strikes Back.
Ooh. You startled me so much that I knocked my whole situation over. All right, great. I'm ready.
All right, this is going to be in 3 different phases. The first phase, we're going to name a celebrity, and you name a horror movie where they started their careers.
Oh, no, I'm going to tank on this. I choke on trivia, but let's go. I'm going to make up movies. I'm just going to make up titles when I get lost.
All right, we'll start with an easy one. Johnny Depp.
A horror movie that he starred in?
His first major motion picture.
In the 80s.
1984.
Oh, I don't know, because that's not my era. In 1984, I was watching House of Usher. I was a little behind. I was in my Vincent Price era. So I honestly have no idea. That's how bad I am. I'm going to say The Creature Ate My Hat is the name of the movie.
No.
I told you I just make stuff up.
All right, I'll give you a hint. He was killed by Freddy Krueger.
Oh, yeah, the Nightmare movies have never been my jam, so I wouldn't know anything about them. All right, keep going.
All right, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
All right, I'm pretty confident you'll get this one here. Jennifer Aniston.
She was in a horror movie?
With Warwick Wicket, the Ewok Davis.
Oh, was she in Leprechaun?
Yeah!
Very good. 1993.
Listen, I will also say, I mean, not to excuse myself, but these are movies that came out at a time when I was very busily erasing all my brain cells. So I just...
Got it.
I recall seeing this in the theater, and I hated her performance. And I thought, this girl's never going to go anywhere.
She's doomed. We'll never see her again.
Little did I know.
Yep.
All right, we'll do one more of these. Kevin Bacon. He made his 4th appearance in this movie in 1980, a horror movie. Little did I know I thought it was his first movie, but it's actually his 4th movie. He had a very small
horror
role.
movie, 1980. Why couldn't you ask me questions about Bela Lugosi?
Because I thought this would be easier.
No, it's not. It's actually like right outside of my range of when I would be watching. Because keep in mind, I was that really jerky teenager that refused to do anything that was popular at the time.
Oh my gosh.
I was that
Me
person
too.
that was like,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm over here with my,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll give you a hint.
Oh, I don't even remember what that goes to.
Okay, well, that movie was Friday the 13th. And he was the very first character to be killed. I guess really not by Jason, by Jason's mom.
I mean, it's a family affair, really.
Now let's move on to the next phase. We're going to give you taglines.
Oh, no.
From films.
And you tell us what movie they're from. We'll keep it easy, okay? In space, no one can hear you scream.
Oh, that's Alien.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Now we're more in my zone again. Okay.
All right. The next scream you hear may be your own. Think Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, I don't know that one. I feel like that could have been any number of films.
Okay, is it Psycho? Is it The Birds? Is it The Birds?
Is it The Birds?
That's The Bird! You said you didn't know these.
I don't know these.
Okay, we'll do one more, okay? Man is the warmest place to hide.
Oh, is that the thing?
Look at you!
Now we're more in my space again. You see where my stuff is landing in a very sci-fi zone.
Ah, yes, with
okay.
Alien and we gotcha.
All right, so we're learning something new about Holly.
Yeah.
Well, that's also why I don't get into fantasy either. I have told this story so many times, you may have heard it, but Star Wars came out around the same time as the animated Hobbit, right? Wasn't that later that same year?
Yeah.
And I remember being very excited about Star Wars, and then the Hobbit thing happened, and I was like, there's nothing here for me. This is garbage. Like, I really hated it. So as like a 7-year-old, I was like, this is trash. I'm like, there's no spaceships. There's no laser swords. Why would you even think I wanted to watch this, parents? Like, it was very funny.
I love it.
All right, we'll move on to our third and final round. And this is called What's Wrong with This Picture? So we're going to show you a picture and you tell us what's wrong with it.
Okay.
Yeah, like maybe something has been added or subtracted. All right, so here we go. I'm going to add this. What is wrong?
Oh, Yoda's in there. He doesn't belong.
There. Okay, now you found your
Very
wheelhouse.
good.
All right. Yeah, we're showing a picture from Haunted Mansion. And Sarah did a very good job of photoshopping Ghost Yoda.
Match. It's a great match, but he doesn't belong there.
Nope, this is how it should look.
This is the original, and this is with Ghost Yoda.
Yes. Oh.
There we go.
There we go.
I just love it. That needs to be a t-shirt.
I know, it's so cute.
All right, next.
All right, next we have this one.
It's from the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm suspicious of the second witch mask. And there are no stink lines coming off of Pigpen, and there is a killer behind the fence.
You mean this killer?
A little bit, yes.
You mean Michael Myers? Not hiding behind a bush anymore. He's hiding behind the fence.
He's like, when are you going to hang those sheets up so I can stand behind them?
That's amazing.
Nice.
And this is the original picture without Michael Myers. All right, final one. Final one. What is wrong with this picture? It's a Universal Monsters poster.
Collage.
Collage,
you know what? Oh, hold on 1 second. Let's zoom out on that one.
Okay, here we go. What's wrong?
I was about to say whoever drew Bela Lugosi's eyes did not get them right, but that was a very picky, snicky thing.
No, this is you, Holly. You are now one of the Universal horror movie monsters.
Can I tell you how much I love Elsa Lanchester, and I would do anything to stand that close to her? I will tell you so many weird facts about that woman's life that you never wanted to know.
I recently just saw The Bride of Frankenstein for the very first time, and it was this week that I realized that she is Katie Nana in Mary Poppins, which blew my mind.
Yeah, well, you know what? You got to go to Universal Studios because they have the Frankenstein and the Bride walking around.
I know. I'm very excited. Universal stuff very much in my wheelhouse. Elsa Lanchester. She was amazing. If you ever get a chance to read her biography, do it. She was so funny and so smart and mean in exactly the kind of way you want somebody to be mean. She was great.
I am writing that down.
Yeah,
Yay.
it was because of the meetings we've had with the monsters at Universal Studios that inspired our last episode where we just dove into all the Frankenstein films and wow. It was Frankenstein 101. I loved learning about that.
James Whale forever. I love James Whale in the pit of my soul. I love that man. Do you know that when he was in, this is a little history nerddom. Do you know that when during World War I, when he was captured, he started putting on stage plays in the camp that were so good that the enemy officers would all come to them every time.
Oh my God. No, I did not know
Writing
that.
and directing little stage plays. Initially just to keep morale up among like the other prisoners of war, but they got really, really popular and people started going. So it does not surprise me at all that he is the person that produced Frankenstein and Bride.
Wow. All right. Do you have one Elsa Lanchester fun fact to round out?
I have
this
so
episode?
many. Her parents were vegetarians, sort of. Her dad would occasionally get an entire sheep's head and eat it, which is a whole weird thing, and then he would go back to being vegetarian. But the funny thing about her is that she would steal bouillon cubes from a butcher down the street and suck on them because she like just wanted to rebel and have some little bit of meaty something. She grew up, her childhood was wild.
I'll have to read that book.
Yeah. We're so bummed that she was only in one Frankenstein film.
Mm-hmm.
You got this great character. Let's litter her in all these movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's amazing.
All right, Holly, we hope you had as much fun as we did.
Of course I did. I'm so lucky that I got to spend this time with you.
Yay.
Oh, likewise. Now, if the Skywalkers want to get a hold of you,
I am still on Twitter as Surliest Girl and on Instagram as SurlyGirly5. And, I flirt with other ones, but I never really stick to them, so not the safest bet. You can also find my history doings at Missed in History for stuff you missed in history class. And for Criminalia, we just use the hashtag Criminalia. And of course, there's also Full of Sith. I think that's all the major stuff.
And once again, throw out the name of your book.
It is Killer Cocktails, Dangerous Drinks Inspired by History's Most Nefarious Criminals.
Excellent.
Awesome.
All right.
Get a theme for Halloween night now.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
There's some very good autumnal ones in there. One of my favorites is inspired by a woman named Rachel Wall who was hanged. She was a pirate, but she was hanged for not her piracy. She was the last woman hanged in Massachusetts. But the drink that she inspired is super easy to make. It is 3 ounces of hard cider, 3 ounces of champagne or other sparkling, and like a splash of pumpkin syrup. And it tastes like so crisp and autumnal, and I love it, and I drink it all the time at home.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
My mouth just watered.
I know.
All right, so we're going to head on down to Barnes & Noble. So, Holly, happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
This is Peter Renaday. I am the Ghost Host, and I'm skywalking through Neverland.
Well, that wraps up episode 489 of Skywalking Through Neverland. We want to thank Holly Frey for coming on the show and sharing her fun Halloween stories. And we want to thank all of you Skywalkers for listening and watching every week.
Now, you can also find us on our socials at Skywalking Pod.
And do you have things we want to share? Well, we do. Every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, we go live on YouTube and share things we've done in the past week. We may unbox something or share something we've bought. And we also invite you Skywalkers to come on and share something you've done or something you've just added to your collection.
It's a very collaborative show. We want you there, Skywalkers. Now, are you interested in our books? Well, autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History and Skywalking Through My Fandom, the interactive notebook, are available now from skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book.
Excellent. Now, would you like to support Skywalking Through Neverland? You can consider supporting us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. And the Skywalking Force has access to bonus content in the form of our Zoom discussions on past Disney Plus shows. Also, Agatha All Along, we are doing some discussions on that. And you'll also get a coupon code to use for our books. So that bonus content begins at only $5 a month. You can head to skywalkingforce.com and have a look at the options. And we want to thank those of you who are already part of the Skywalking Force. You guys are 40 strong and you guys are amazing.
Mm-hmm. Now, we want to thank our sponsor once again, Small World Vacations, for their support. Small World, expect our phone calls sometime very soon. Now, are you thinking of a trip to a Disney park or a Disney cruise? Well, you can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge. So head over there and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you, or give them this witch's cackle. We gotta really tell them what's coming.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now we are part of the Skywalking Network.
Skynet.
Where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
The Max Effects Podcast,
The Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
Star Warsologies,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and
Today in Star Wars History. Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember
to have a happy Halloween.
And Neverland on Alderaan. So claps, 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 spooky claps. Try it again right in front of this mic.
Ooh.
Meh. Loud.
Okay. Well, I would do that, but then you would say loud, and it would be my fault. You can do it and say loud.
Yes.
And you won't get upset with yourself.
That's true.
I do it, and it's loud, and you get mad at me the whole night.
It's my prerogative.
Okay.
Pennywise.
Okay,
but
good.
I want to know, because you had your red balloon for a while in the maze. How did you lose your red balloon?
I walked outside, and I had it wrapped around my hand,
Uh-huh.
and a branch thing snagged it and tore it out of my hand.
Oh.
So, for the better part of the night, I thought I was holding that balloon.
And you were balloonless.
No, I was balloonless. Until one person said, "Where's your red balloon?" It's right here. Uh-oh. I don't know where it is. So, thanks for asking.
Oh my gosh.
Not a clue.
So,
Right. Now, when you say bookstore, what do you mean by that?
what do I mean by a book? You've been to a bookstore. Where
Not for like 20 years.
You go, you
Yeah, we don't have them anymore.
your credit card, and they will allow you to purchase a book and go home with it.
Wait, what? It's not Amazon anymore?
No, I mean it can be. You can buy it there too, but Vincent Price, what was his first one? That's a good question. Oh, I hope his daughter is not watching this because she's a friend of mine and she'll be mad.
I don't know, as I talk very slowly while trying to look it
You're
up.
looking it up.
It was his appearance on Michael Jackson's Thriller.
No.
I got a rock.
Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.